You are listening to the Hiking Radio Network, where we talk the walk with shows by hikers, about hikers, for everybody.
This is the Hammock Hangers Podcast, where we hang out and talk about everything from hammocks and hammock camping to the group hangs from around the country. Hey everyone, welcome to the Hammock Hangers Podcast, where we unwind, relax, and delve into all things hammock related. Join us as we swing into the world of hammocks, exploring tips and tricks for setting up that perfect hang, sharing stories of outdoor adventures, and discovering the latest trends in hammock camping and relaxation. Whether you're a seasoned hammocker or new to the art of hanging, this podcast is your cozy corner to kick back, escape the hustle and bustle of everyday life, and soak in the soothing atmosphere of the hammock culture. Prepare to be inspired, educated, and entertained as we embrace the hammock lifestyle together. So grab your favorite hammock, find that perfect spot to hang, and let's embark on a hammock-filled journey that will leave you feeling refreshed, rejuvenated, and ready to take on the world. This is the Hammock Hangers Podcast, where every episode is a breath of fresh air. Let's get started.
Howdy, hangers. Welcome to this week's episode of the Hammock Hangers Podcast. You are in for a real special treat. Special may be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on how the end of this episode goes. So we have a first on our illustrious podcast. We about have as many people in our recording room as probably that are listening to this podcast. So that'll be great. So we have a huge assortment of wonderful individuals joining us this week. This week we are going to be talking with Stephanie, Dave, Richard, Addam, Heather, and Karla, all of which are wonderful hammock community heroes. They are organizers and runners of these majestic things called hammock hangs, and they're from various parts of the country. So this week we're going to be talking a little about them, a little about their hangs, and talking about some of the ways that hammocks have enriched their lives, that they have enriched the community, and hey, why should you go to these little hammock hangs that they're on? So I'm going to go ahead and kind of bring everybody in one at a time. And Stephanie, I'm going to start with you because in my little like non-square box, you are my first target. So I'm just going to go for there. So would you tell us about your name and what event do you host?
Well, my name is Stephanie. I host Michiligan, which is the fall Michigan hang in southern Michigan.
Okay, awesome. And how long have you particularly been running this hang, and how long has your hang been running?
Well, I joined the hang in 2023, and Miss Karla with the K was running it for the first 2 years, which you'll talk to her in a moment. And this will be my first year kind of running it with the board. Of course, we have a board. So.
Hey, awesome. And I will be happy to say, I don't know if my partner in crime will be joining me. However, I would like to announce that the Hammock Hangers Podcast will be at Michiligan this year for 2025. I'm stupid excited about coming up. And so gonna make it up there to Michigan, which also is a state that I have not been to yet. I hear really good things about it. So
you're in for a treat. Fall Michigan.
Summer, but I was really close this summer, but not quite far that north. But I'll kind of maybe divert back and talk about like how did it get started. Well, actually, let's go ahead and do that. So Karla, come on in. Figuratively and literally. So Karla, since you also kind of piggybacked on this, how did this hang kind of get started? What's this hang's origin story?
This hang's origin goes back a long time because it actually started with underground quilts. Paul and Missy ran it at the time, and they started this I couldn't remember the name, Fall Fest Chili Hang. And then with COVID, like many other hangs, it didn't happen for a couple of years. And there's a guy, Diesel, who kept saying, hey, is it going to happen? Hey, is it going to happen? And I said, hey, if you team up with me, like, I'll bring this back, but we got to find a name that I can remember. So literally Michiligan came to me in a dream, and I convinced Diesel to say yes. And so now it's Michiligan.
I do really like that name. That's really, really cool.
And for the record, let me announce this. Let me say this right quick. So the very first hang was in 2013, and if you exclude the years we didn't do it for COVID, this is the 10-year anniversary of the Michigan Fall Hang.
Woo woo!
So we'll be doing a little something for 10 years.
For like 10 years. Yeah, that's a solid run. That is a solid run. So Stephanie, I think this question is important for me. Every hang that I think has something that is a direct reflection of the person that is running it. If you could say, what is one thing about Michiligan that is a direct reflection of you personally?
Me personally, I'll say, since I say this planning year, it's probably the trying to integrate people that's been at this hang for the past 10 years and people who want to come in. So trying to accommodate everybody. I'm always trying to make sure everybody around me is having a good time, even in normal day-to-day, world. So I think if I had to say anything, us trying to bring the veterans in with the new people, that's our focus.
Awesome. And what is one thing that keeps you coming back year after year?
Just in general, like being able to see other people and talk to other people that share my interest. I don't see people like, besides when I talk to y'all on the internet, that like hammock camping, except for maybe a couple people around here. So being able to talk to people like that.
Awesome. Thanks, Stephanie, for joining us. Next on our docket list, we have Dave Mooseman Moose here with us from North Carolina. How are you doing, Dave?
That's actually the sign language for moose. I found that out one day.
Awesome. So, we've already said your name. So what event do you run and where is it held?
Yeah, well, I guess I call myself the facilitator. So I'm a facilitator because we don't really have a board or anything like that, but we're North Carolina Hammock Hangers. And I would probably describe us as a spinoff of a whole bunch of different groups, dating way back from hammockforums.net and, all the Southeast hangs together. And then my experience was with Tar Heel State Hangers when they were a functioning group. And then I also hung out with the group probably before Heather was there. I was with PSH for a little while and still go to some of their hangs too. So we just, all the Carolinas and Virginia is kind of our area. So.
Okay. Awesome. So what event is in North Carolina that you help facilitate?
Yes. Well, we did a great big one about 2 years ago. It was Woolly Swamp Farms, and we basically just called it Woolly Swamp spring hang. And we actually did some vendors donated some things. We had a 50-50 raffle. So we've done that for about 2 or 3, going on our 3rd year, will be coming up this next year. And now we're also trying to get a fall hang. So we're actually going to be doing a fall hang there as well. What my idea is to have 3 hangs in 3 sections of North Carolina, starting down at the coast near the Outer Banks. That's where Woolly Swamp is. And then the Piedmont is where our second one is. And that one's called Van Hoy. It's the host campground for the Fiddlers Convention way back. If anybody ever goes back in time with the Union Grove Fiddlers Convention, that's the same location. And then we're looking for a venue up near the foothills or the mountains to do something up that way. And I think we're going to go to the Gorge sometime in October for a small group.
Okay.
That's
Awesome.
pretty much it as far as that goes.
All right. So my next two individuals, and I'll group them together because you usually can't find one without the other. We have Richard Nance and Heather Beck from South Carolina. How y'all doing?
Hi guys, I'm doing well. How about you?
Doing great.
Doing peachy. So tell us about you all and tell us some of the hangs that you guys have facilitated.
Richard, do you want to start?
Go right ahead, and I'll pick up at the end.
Okay. So I mean, South Carolina, we are the Palmetto State Hangers group. We facilitate 6 hangs a year. We have our one in the first part of February that we call the Frozen Butt Hang. We tend to try to do that one directly after Hang Con. And then we have our spring hang we call Spring Swing. And then we have Swamp Butt, which is in the dead of summer. That one's actually coming up here in just a couple of weeks. We try to do it right toward the end of July for just before school goes back into session. And then after Swamp Butt, we have our Fall Sprawl, which is probably our largest hang that we do of the year. And that's the one where we do a huge raffle and fundraiser and we donate all of the proceeds from that raffle and fundraiser back to a program that our group has supported from the beginning called the Palmetto Campout Program. That's put on by another state park. And that program essentially just teaches people how to camp. And we, as a group, also show up and do a hammock demonstration to teach people about hammock camping, along with the tent camping and how to cook meals over a fire and just all different skills that you need for camping in general. After Fall Sprawl, then we also do a holiday hang. Oh, I guess I forgot to mention we also do one called the No Name Hang. That was the 6th one that we added in a couple of years ago at the request of our members. And then that one we do a crawfish boil and stuff. And that one's usually done in April after Spring Swing. So our group requested to grow and add another hang, so that's what we did. But yeah, it's a good time. We biggest thing we probably bring to the table for our group, I would say, is the feeling of family. That's been a big thing for Richard and I when I brought him on board because he saw the same vision and mission as me with that of just bringing everybody together and creating a family, it not just being an experience for individuals, but it being a family. So whether you've been with this group for 15 years, which is about how long our group's been running, or you just walk in for the first time, that you feel like you are part of a family. I know my first experience walking into the group, I walked out and called my husband and said, I just met a whole new family. Like, I walked in, didn't know anybody. There was 40 people at that hang, and I walked out with a whole new family, and that family has continued to grow over the last 5 years since I've taken over the group.
Well, Richard, you want to pop in and say a few things as well?
Sure. Fancy Nancy here. Woo. Yeah, Heather kind of hit on all the events that we have, and I was going to kind of tee up on the family aspect of it. And we do call ourselves a family. We're a hanging family. We're there to support each other when needed. A lot of times we will actually call or text or message each other out of the hangs. I mean, we really kind of wrapped ourselves around wanting to do that. And I feel like that helps with new people that come in, especially if there's somebody that's not sure, never been, everybody takes care of the kids. If there's kids running around, most of the time the parents just let them run. Somebody's watching them. So that's one of the things that, our community is very grateful to have a family oriented type community, and we call ourselves a family.
Awesome. So I would say, so Richard, out of all the hangs that you guys do, if you could say one that would be the most fancy Nancy hang, which would it be for you?
Oh gosh, the most fancy Nancy hang. That's a good one. If I had to guess, the one I probably enjoy the most is probably the one where we have our cast iron cooking. It's the Frozen Butt. and we typically have a cast iron Dutch oven cook off, and it's kind of only the true diehard cold people, not talking about the folks up in the Midwest, but for us, the cold people, it brings out the true diehards. And we have a good turnout, 40 to 50 people roughly is what we had the last one. So, and during our fall sprawl, we usually hit right about 100-ish. So,
Good deal. What about you, Heather? What out of all those hangs, which screams cackles the most?
I'm kind of with Richard on that, because what most people probably don't know about me is I am a diehard cook, and I love cooking over open fires. I love cooking in Dutch ovens. I mean, I just built recently over the weekend, just built an entire new cook pit that is 108 inches long by 24 inches wide, and it has 3 sides to it, so that I can hang 5 pots over it. I'll have 5 pots hanging. I can cook a cauldron. So I love cooking in cast iron. Like it's probably one of my greatest passions, more so than hammock hanging. It's how I love people, by cooking and feeding them. So and I'm also get quite competitive when it comes to cooking. So I'm with Richard on that one. I would say frozen butt is and doing the Dutch oven cook off is one of my favorite things. The other one, probably my second favorite, would be the no-name hang, because there's not a lot of work for us to do at that one. Barry Garibaldi actually shows up, also known as Cajun, as most of y'all know him, shows up and cooks the crawfish boil for everybody and does all the work. So me and Fancy get to sit back around the fire and kick our feet up and kind of relax at that one, actually. So, and just have a good time and enjoy our guest instead of running around and hearing our names called 1,000 times a day.
I can agree with that. I definitely like hangs that I do little to no work. I think I enjoy those a lot. That's why I like going to other people's hangs and not mine as much anymore. No, not really.
Yeah, so I have to say, yeah, I agree with you on that one, though, AJ. I like going to other people's hangs, with the exception of HangCon, because I really work a lot at HangCon for you. But yeah, I mean, I would say outside of that, just the people that show up at Frozen Butt, that's our second largest hang that we do each year. And it's just people that I don't get to see that often, who are very unique individuals, and I get to learn a lot from, and things like that. So those are my favorite things, is if I can show up and learn something new, and learn a new skill, that's what I love doing.
Gotcha. All right, well, let's go out to the other coast with my good friend Addam from SoCal State Hangers. How you doing, Addam?
I'm well. Thank you for having me on with all these wonderful people.
Excellent. Mm-hmm. You're the lone wolf on the West Coast there. So let's talk about like your event, because you're kind of like the only show on the road out there.
Yeah, I know. It's a pretty prestigious position. I mean, we've been going for 12 years, I think. Well, not 12 years. We started in 2012. So I think 12 years if you take out the COVID times or whatever. And I just, back when Hammock Forums was kind of more active, like I would jump onto that and just looking to, like buy gear, but I didn't want to buy it twice. So I wanted to take a look at some stuff. And I just kept seeing a lot of people saying, hey, let's do a hang here. And then, they get like 3 weeks into planning, and like one person out of 10 would be like, I can't make it that weekend. And then it would all fall apart, right? It's like, you can just have 9. It's going to be all right. So anyway, so I was just like, all right, so we're just going to meet at this campground. And I thought it was going to be like a one-off. And, I got what I needed. I was like, okay, I want to buy this, this, and this. Go with God. We're all right. And then, somebody's like, okay, so same time next year. I'm like, wait, what? So that's kind of how it started rolling. Our name has changed over the years depending on what time it was, right? Like it's been like St. Patty's Day or April Fools. Now we're like Fools of May. It's gonna be May hang. And then we're right. It's the low hanging fruit. And we're thinking about maybe moving to the fall, because we're going to see there's just a lot of activity happening in the spring. So we got to figure out what some cool pun, I don't know, like cord Locktober hang or something like that. Yeah, right. It's like there's got to be an oct or something, right? And yes, I mean, it really just started with being like, hey, this is a campsite, and if like I'm not going to be there till 9, but these are the site numbers that I think will work, because it was at a place that couldn't take reservations. I had no idea how many people were going to show up, and it ended up being 12 of us. I think myself and 2 others have been there since the beginning, and then kind of like year 2, year 3 kind of picked up a lot of more long timers, you know what I mean? And it's always a pleasure to see everybody. And it's kind of funny because I've kind of always, or for not always, but for several years, I kind of like would say it with a wink of like, oh yeah, I'm hanging out with like my hammock nerd buddies or whatever, because it's a funny thing, right? Like
you're not wrong. Like when I tell people, hey, I'm going to the woods hang with people that I met on the internet.
Yeah,
I get your looks.
Yeah, it sounds scandalous, right? And it's something like the more you explain it, the weirder it sounds. Right? So like if I'm at work, I'm just like, oh yeah, I've got camping buddies. That's what I'm doing. That's it.
I totally get that.
But like, so like for like years, it was just like, oh, it's this like stupid thing, or like not stupid, but it's silly, and it's all right that it's silly. We need silly things. I like silly things. But then kind of after COVID, when we had our first hang, and about 3/4 of the people that came back were long timers, like I started to realize that like for some of the people, it might be like their only thing they do that year. You know what I mean? And so I was talking to my wife about it, and she's like, yeah, that's why it's special. And I was just like, it was just like a light bulb that went off or whatever. Like, oh, okay, so there's, I don't want to say responsibility, but it's like I kind of learned that I needed to honor that. You know what I mean? And I don't know. It's just been really cool, like to like at the first hang, there was this kid that was like 11 years old, right? And now he's got a kid and is married, and you know what I mean? So it's like it's such an amazing thing to see just how people change over the years, how things stay the same, how things change, how things evolve. We kind of looked at the, like, well, I say we like it's anybody else doing anything. After the COVID times, it was like, okay, well, this is kind of a time to reboot and revamp and kind of change the mission statement a little bit. You know what I mean? Like those were long years for everybody. Right. Well, maybe not in Florida.
You say this COVID thing. I don't remember that. I don't remember getting that email.
Yeah, but it was like I kind of crossed a threshold in that time where I was like, oh, well, if we're gonna treat this a little more seriously, it's like, okay, well, let's start working on like inclusivity and making sure that everybody feels welcome, and reaching out maybe to some communities that aren't historically known for camping and backpacking and that sort of thing, because that's like my favorite part of it. And I'm sure that there's some similar thoughts here, but my favorite part of it is the bringing together of people from very different backgrounds, right? So like I've got friends that are really close to me now that are very different from me, and without the hang, there probably would have been some roadblocks to that happening, right? There's a documentary that I am a huge fan of called Join or Die, and it's about this social scientist named Robert Putnam, and it just kind of goes over like quantifiable evidence of how much being in clubs with people that you don't know not only enriches the quality of your life, but also sees your fellow human beings as people, right? And like he always uses bowling clubs, right? Because that's like his main passion with his clubs, right? So, and I'm paraphrasing, but it's something like, I might not agree with Frank about like school funding, but I know that Frank can hit a 7-10 split, right? So I'm gonna figure out how to make things work with Frank, and then we're gonna see each other with people, and things are gonna be cool, or as people, and things are gonna be cool, right? So that's kind of, with my experience, that's kind of like my favorite part of it. And what I like, if there's a mission statement, and not that everybody knows this, but if there's a mission statement, it's that.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Sorry, that was a very long answer.
No. I can kind of resound with that. Like for me, like some of the favorite things about that I see at HangCon specifically, I love when I see basically anyone that's not a white guy with a beard driving a pickup.
Yep.
Like over the couple years that we had, like one thing that I'm like crazy proud of as far as like the development of HangCon is we've seen so many more solo female campers come in for HangCon, and like that to me, like I get it as a white middle class male. I get the oddness of this statement, but the fact that we have more solo female campers coming out, that knowing that our event is a safe place for them and that we have built that like weighs on me. Or like when we see people of color, when we see people from different countries come in, like that's like, it's like the white guy with a beard, like that's literally most of the people from a hang. But like to see that quilt, that colorful quilt grow and evolve over time, it has really been just incredible for me. But yeah. So I'm gonna we actually just had a new addition come on, but I will get to her in a second. But Karla, would you talk about your hang and tell a little bit about that?
Hey, I'm Karla with a K, and I live up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I got started hammock camping about 10 years ago and joined that 12 nights a year challenge. And so I just started hosting all of these little hammock hangs, Lover's Leap at Lap and Peak, and New Moon hang, and a Pie Iron hang, and a Thanksgiving hang, and anything that I could kind of randomly get together and do. But I'm more well known for Bacon Fest. And this is the 10th anniversary coming up next year of Bacon Fest, and it will be the last time that I am hosting it. I love the hang, and I'm feeling called to do something else. I'm actually hoping that there is someone else out there in the US who's like, Karla would help me do this, and that hang sounds like a lot of fun. So
she's not really groveling at all.
Well, I kind of think that Ohio would be a good place for it, because I think that between Addam at Hammock Gear and John at Trailheads, I think that that's a good area. And you add Orange Tarp Eli in there, I think that those three would be able to pull off a really great Bacon Fest. I have not talked to those people. They're hearing about it for the first time right now. But hey, I think if we all start saying that, it'll just be true, right? So in 2027, Bacon Fest moving to Ohio.
Gotcha. Well, good deal. All right, so we're gonna move on to kind of low key my favorite employee at Dutchware. It's Vicki. Spoiler, it's not anybody. It is Vicki. Vicki is my favorite Dutchware employee ever. I love her to death. Well, I'm just going to let her explain who she is and what hang does she do. Go ahead, Vic. And she froze. She was doing so good.
Just in time.
Maybe? Well, awkward. Maybe?
There she is.
She's muted. Hold on. Let me see if I can unmute her.
Vicki, if you can hear us, unmute yourself.
There we go.
Yay!
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
All right. Oh, it's good to see everybody. My goodness. So I'm Vicki, obviously, and I work at Dutchware. And I have quite a few hats. Most people know me through customer service. So maybe some people put a face with a name now that they didn't have before. What?
Would you do a phenomenal job, by
What did you say? Oh. Hey, thank you. I appreciate that. It helps to have a good support team. We've got a really amazing group of people. So makes my job easy when I can say, oh yeah, we can do that, and we know we can. You know what I mean?
I gotcha.
So
Tell us
yeah,
about
so
Maha.
I help head up Maha. Yeah, and most of what I do is securing a location, and then working on the raffle, that kind of thing, kind of keeping everything moving in the right direction until we all show up, and then still kind of keeping things moving, helping people figure out what they're supposed to do once they're on site, that kind of thing. And we got a bunch of guys we call the Booze Brothers. These guys serve breakfast every Saturday. They love doing it, and they make some amazing food. And of course, we always say breakfast is at the crack of Dutch. So it's a really laid back hang. We occasionally have different workshops, but not always. Mostly we just really want to get together and spend time together and have an opportunity to really be in the outdoors together and sit around that campfire and hang out. So we focus primarily on that, and then anything else that we do is kind of a bonus.
Gotcha. So what is one thing about Maha that is maybe like is specifically Vicki? Like, what is an aspect of Maha that has like your name written on that particular thing?
That's a hard one. I think I'm going to say the raffle, probably. If people don't know me any other way, they'll know me from the raffle.
Gotcha. Well, I think like when we look at the wide assortment of people that we got here, we have lots of different size hangs too, and that's something that has come along. Like for me, like, oh well, we have had people like say to me like, hey, I don't go to HangCon because it's so big, which I totally get that.
Yeah.
And I thoroughly enjoy going to like a much smaller hang. Like we just a few weeks ago, I was in South Carolina at the Who Hang. Shout out to Jason from Walhalla that was throwing that. It's a small hang that, you know, at that particular time there was probably like 15 of us there or something like that. And there's something very intimate about like those small hangs that I thoroughly enjoy. But on the flip side, I thoroughly enjoy going to my Danish Outdoor Festival / HangCon Europe. HangCon. I love going to Fall Sprawl. I love going to see these bigger things. What about? I'll ask a few of you guys. Dave, what makes something a hang for you?
Oh, definitely just the people. I mean, pretty much it's not so much the things that we do. It's just kind of like Heather touched on, being a family. A lot of our groups kind of intertwined with each other. You know, a lot of our guys will go to HangCon, and a lot of our guys will go to Fall Sprawl. So we're just kind of in at Yates. I didn't mention that earlier, but Yates is a big. It's been a very long running hang there. It's at a national forest in Uwharrie.
We are Yates.
Yeah. So and a lot of us meet up, and but to me, it's just people meeting up with people, and you know, everybody usually hugs everybody when they hadn't seen them in a while. You know.
Gotcha. What about you, Stephanie? What makes a hammock hang a hang for you?
Oh, forgot I was on mute. I mean, it's pretty much the same thing. Is not just being with people, but learning new things. Like, I that's one of my favorite things about hangs. Also, it's like being able to learn and get new experiences.
So, do you find yourself that you prefer like your smaller hangs, like maybe less than 20 people, or do you prefer the larger, 100+ people?
Well, you're about to call me out on this one because I've only been to 2 hangs. Oh wait, sorry, I've been to Ludington. I've been to 3 hangs.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's pros and cons to both. I love going to Ludington. There's like maybe 20 people there in the middle of winter in Michigan, which is fun. But like you get the benefit of just like talking to not as much noise, a lot more quieter. But then when you go to somewhere like HangCon, like I love that aspect in small doses because I like being around people, but small doses. So I would say medium to lower side of a number of people.
Okay. So Addam, I know that it was your first time at HangCon this past year.
Yes,
How
sir.
would you compare the overall feel to the hang that you guys have out in California versus a hang that you saw at HangCon?
Yeah, it's interesting because the stuff that is very similar, and the stuff that's very different is very different, right? Like there doesn't seem to be a lot in the middle, right? It's like people that like black licorice, right? Yeah, they love it or hate it, right?
Maybe it's a lot like Scrapple,
like Scrapple. Yeah, it was really interesting because I hadn't been to anything that big, right? Like the largest one that I had hosted was like 60 people, which was kind of unwieldy for one person to run. So we're at like 20, 25 now, which is much better for me, right? But when I was heading to HangCon, like I've got some like social anxiety stuff, like big crowds. I'm a what they call an extroverted introvert, right? So it's like with people I know, I can open up pretty well. A huge crowd, it's rough, right? But it was kind of strange because it was like in a way having so many people at HangCon was like 600 or 650 or something like that, right?
Right at 600 or a little over 600.
Like in a weird way, like that kind of creates more opportunities for let's say a deeper interaction, right? Which is kind of like, I'm not good at small talk, so it's like that's what I'm searching for, right? In terms of communicating with people, meeting people, blah 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 blah, right? So if it were 100 people, for example, like that's still a small enough number that you feel like you have to deal with everybody and meet with everybody and learn something about everybody, right? But with it being 650, like it was a situation where it's like, okay, there's enough going on like on a wider scale that if I just want to pull these 3 or 4 people here and have like a great conversation, I can, and it doesn't feel like I'm excluding anybody, right? So even though there's such a larger number of people, I didn't feel like I was stymied in the efforts to get to know people on a more personal level, for example, right? So it's kind of strange. It was like the bigger that it got, the more that the vibe of it feeling smaller was, if that makes some sense, right? Like something about it being so large is that you don't have a responsibility to the collective in a way that you would for like say 70 people, 80 people, something like that, right? Like I love my hang. I love like our 20, 25 people. I feel like I get to spend time with everybody. I feel like I know stuff about everybody. They know stuff about me. We talk about stuff that like isn't hammock. I mean, everybody talks about stuff that's not hammock related, right? But it's like we all know each other's like personal struggles and things that we're working on. You know what I mean? So it's like it was just strange that particular thread was present in both places for very different reasons, but I was able to enjoy that same, I guess, flavor, like in the same way, even though it was such a different background or backdrop, I guess is a better way to say it.
Gotcha. Now Heather, for you, I'm going to kind of divert this question slightly more. How was your experience of all the hangs that you've been to in the States different or the same than your experience in HangCon Europe, because you were with us in Denmark this year?
Yeah, I was with you in Denmark. And I would say it was strangely the same but different at the same time, because I mean, we had a lot of people back there. AJ, we have like 300 people back there for HangCon Europe.
It was around 250, 300 people.
Yeah, that were in hammocks. So that wasn't just for the festival itself. That was just people in hammocks. However, I was able to find like just a small group of like 10 people to kind of talk and really connect and hang out with and create that really small group vibe each and every day at HangCon Europe, which is kind of touching on what Addam was just saying, like, because at the festival itself, there was probably thousands, there's a couple thousand of people there. However, it never felt that large to me. because there was always like you were always running into someone you knew, because we actually had a lot of people from the States there, and then a lot of our Denmark people from Denmark that come to HangCon were there. So for me, it was really it was really great, because I got to actually interact with our friends from Denmark in their actual home country where they're more comfortable, and got to see more of their actual personalities versus at when they're at HangCon Florida with us. Also, I wasn't working that event, so that makes a big difference as well. Because HangCon Florida, I'm usually in the kitchen. I'm dealing with raffle tickets. I'm dealing with customer service things. I'm helping the vendors and making sure the vendors are eating lunch, and stuff like that. So AJ tends to have me doing a lot of different jobs at there. But so I get to see them, say hi, and speak for just a few seconds. Versus when we were in Denmark, I actually got to sit down and have conversations with them and get to know them personally and about their actual lives, and get to know their wives, and their girlfriends and stuff, and have really deep conversations with them. So that was different for me, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. But my favorite part of HangCon Denmark was sitting around that campfire with you and Matt and the other people from Denmark, playing the ukulele and singing campfire songs the whole time. Because that's just, that's not something we get to do a lot. And I know that's like, music is a huge passion of yours and Water Boys. And so, like, to actually get to see y'all perform and do your passions. Because usually when we're together, it's hustle and bustle. So I don't get to really participate in that part of your life a lot. So it was very special for me to actually witness that and see that. So
awesome. Well, we're gonna change gears a little bit, and Karla, I want to shoot this one at you. What if someone is saying, "Hey, I've heard so much about these hangs or whatever. There's like the whole hammock camping that I'm used to, or that I've heard so much about, but I'm not used to." What would you say is maybe 3 things that people should expect going to their very first hang?
Anxiety. Anytime you're going to step outside your comfort zone. So if it's you don't know anybody that's there, or you're going with the tent, or you've never been to this location, you're going to have some anxiety. All of us do the first time when we do anything that's new, but don't let that stop you. And that's part of what I built in a Bacon Fest, when the way that we have our meals with our meal captains, that we actually contact the people ahead of time, and you have your group who's on the meal. And so anytime that a hang organizer could have like some sort of activity that can involve people ahead of time, like if it's signing up to bring garbage bags, or if it's signing up to do something, anything that, or, connecting people ahead of time. But anxiety, and I'm actually going to say anxiety is such a big thing that's going to be my number 1, 2, and 3, because I know that that's kind of what stopped me. And at my first hang, when I was first put in a hammock, the Gooby even said, "I'll give you all the gear. I'll set it right up next to your tent." And I still almost said no. And thank God I didn't, because I mean, look at me 10 years later, hammock camping every month. But I just think that anxiety issue is so big, especially if you are, as the single lady who goes to things. Don't let that stop you. I went to my first big hang, forgot my hammock. What? It was in my backpack at home. And I knew 2 other people at the hang. I was in Michigan, and so I couldn't just go home and get it. And it was one of the best things that ever happened to me, because Franklin had 3 different sleep systems. So I slept in a muck one night, and I cowboy camped the other night. That's the only time that I had ever cowboy camped, and my first time in a muck. And when I won one of those at HangCon, I'm like, oh my gosh, I get to have, like, I know. I just think there's so many things that happen in life that happen for a reason. And so getting over that anxiety to actually get to a hang, just do it.
Yeah, I can kind of resonate with that. I would say my very first hang that I went to, it was completely outside of my comfort zone. Not just in the fact that, I'd grown up camping, so the camping part of it wasn't there, but I was 400 pounds and I went on I was on a hiking hang. So like it was a 2-mile hike. And I'm sorry, when you're 400 pounds, 2 miles is like halfway trekking the AT. Okay. So, and I had like this probably 60-pound Jansport backpack on that hurt like all get out. Matt, who came with me, hiked an entire 24-pack of water out there with them. So, I mean, we were worse for wear. But again, it completely changed, my outlook on who I found my tribe, my people, because my butt got out and hiked for one, went primitive camping because that was the first time that had happened since, I don't know, middle school or high school. And it was very, again, stepping out of that comfort zone. Vicki, what about you? Like, what would you say is something that someone should expect going to their first hang?
Expect a lot of people to want to support you. I feel like the hammock community is one of the most supportive communities I've been a part of. And you should really, don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to just strike up a conversation. If you're at a larger hang and you don't have anyone to be with, walk up to a campfire. Introduce yourself. Next thing you know, you're going to find some new best friends. It's just so welcoming. You're going to love it. Don't be afraid to mix and mingle. In fact, one of the best ways that I found when I'm becoming part of a group is find out just enough information to be a little bit helpful and then make yourself the welcoming committee. And you're going to find out that you get a whole lot of friends that way, because all the other new people who don't know anyone else either, they're right there in the same boat as you. And usually it brings people together. So
it's definitely you make it kind of scenario.
Kind of.
Like we
you don't
talked
have
about
to know everything.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
We've talked about on the podcast numerous times that, making friends or just establishing a social circle as an adult is hard. It's really hard. We have our own agendas and we have like our own lives and it's hard. But like truly, hammock camping, like my people, like my bestest of friends from all over the world came from a hammock. Like it's weird. It's weird that how that all has kind of partaken. Richard, what about you? Like, what would you say is something that someone should expect going into their first hang?
So I kind of had the same experience. My very first hang, I told my wife, I said, I'm going camping. She says, well, who are you going with? I said, I don't know, some people I met on the internet. So my first hang was in Unicoi, Tennessee with LD Cakes, Dutch, and Elena were there. It rained the entire time, and there was supposed to be about 50 people, and I think there was about 15 or 20 of us that stayed, but I had a great time. I mean, it's a welcoming community. And I want to take a second and just recognize Vicki. Vicki's very humble about what she does at the Maha Hangs. Vicki's a rock star. Dutch is there, but Vicki's the workhorse. She does everything, and she is phenomenal. I have been to that hang, and I just can't speak enough about how Vicki takes care of everyone there and her want to make sure that everybody is happy and satisfied and things go right. It is every time phenomenal. So thank you, Vicki, for what you do there.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Listen, though, honestly, if you don't have a good team, you know what I'm saying? Everybody pitches in, everybody. But thank you.
I remember one of the phrases that Timber and Gumbo used to have for the original HangCon was many hands make light work. And
for sure.
I can pretty much say, like, I have an amazing team that makes the Christmas miracle happen, because people will come like, oh, well, this event is so well run and so organized and so put together. I'm not. But that's the Christmas miracle that makes it, kind of come together. I'm going to go through and I'm going to have each one of you guys answer this. And Stephanie, we'll start with you because, again, you're in box number 1 right here. What is one thing that people tend to stress about, that have that anxiety of going to a hang, that they really shouldn't? That if we can say, hey, don't worry about this.
Okay, just one? Okay.
Just one. Just one.
So something they shouldn't stress, not having the right gear. Because there's going to be people there that have extras. You're going to find an AJ at every single hang that has extras of everything.
Bang, bang, shots fired.
And yeah, don't worry about not having the right gear, even coming in a tent. Like, somebody will put you up in a hammock if you want to be.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, Dave, what about you?
Probably like, I'm not going to go because I don't know anybody. Guess what? You're going to know everybody when you leave. Especially, we can't help this Southern hospitality that we have. So, but it's kind of like spreads all the way, even in SoCal over there, I'm sure, Adam. So it's just Southern hospitality, and you're going to meet somebody even if you don't want to. Well, some people are going to wake you up and say, breakfast, like Heather does, in the mornings.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
All right, Karla, what about you? What is something that people shouldn't have that anxiety that you were talking about?
I just know the one example of my come apart at my first hang con. And I have heard you pack for your fear. So if you're afraid that you're going to be too cold, you overpack, the blankets. Or if you're afraid you're going to be hungry, you overpack. And it's to Stephanie's point that I miss breakfast because I was on Central Time, but hang con happens in the Eastern Time zone, so I missed breakfast. And one of my fears was that, because I flew in, I didn't have a lot of stuff with me. And so then it was like, I'm going to miss all the meals and I'm not going to have anything to eat. And that point of, everyone is so helpful and welcoming at Hammock Hangs, and anybody that I told that story to, they were like, I have extras. I have extras. I have extras. What do you need? What do you need? What do you need? And then this second time I went to HangCon, the only way I could make it work was to fly on Spirit Airlines, where I only had a tiny backpack. I mean, I was able to get outfitted with the stand, with the hammock, with an underquilt, with the top quilt, with the tarp. I mean, I went with like nothing, and I was able to get outfitted with everything. So that is just the perfect example of, no matter what your fear is, someone else is going to be able to help you. You just got to get your butt there.
I've always kind of like wanted to just like show up at a hang exactly like that and just have nothing. Like, hey, I showed up, like, But yeah, I can believe. I'm glad that we can laugh about your breakfast story now. I'm glad we can laugh about it now.
Do that, AJ. Like, do that and do like a whole series on that. Like, go to every single hang with nothing. I think that
AJ could never actually do that. He can't help himself.
Yeah, come to Michigan with absolutely nothing. Let's do that.
If Allegiant Air charged me any more for my check bag or my carry-on, I may have done that, but alas. So, Adam, what about you? Like, what are some things that like people may have like anxiety about that you can say, hey, you're good here, man?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting in listening to everyone having kind of a common thread going through the answers. There's a lot of gear related kind of concerns or anxiety or whatever, and it's really making me think in the promotions for future hangs to really focus on saying like, hey, if you don't have anything, you're welcome. First timers welcome. For, you know what I mean? Just really kind of pushing that angle, because it didn't really occur to me until I was listening to everybody talk here. It's like say if I was interested in classic cars, right, and I saw there was a classic cars club, I might be intimidated to go to it because it's like, well, maybe my my old Monterey that I'm trying to fix up isn't up to snuff with these guys that are like building an Edsel from the ground up that's in pristine condition, right? So I think maybe communicating the idea that not having either the best gear or even any gear is kind of more of a positive, because it's cool to show up with the blank slate, right? Like our first hang, somebody came and he was just like, "Hey man, I just wanted to like check out what hammocks were," right? And he had like, you know, the straps for like a winch, like if you were like to winch something out on your truck, right? So he just had like a set of those and like bolts of like super thick fabric, and that was it. And that guy was my hero, right? So like between everybody being there, like we put him together like a great rig with like what he had, and you know, people just like kicked in gear, like, "Oh, this is something I'm not using anymore," blah 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 blah. Like 2 months later, he did the whole JMT in a hammock with everything that he had that he got from that hang, right? So he soloed it. So I don't know, just in hearing everybody talk, I really think that should be kind of something in the messaging, right? Because it's like I think that I think opening the door to people that might not know and might be intimidated, I think that might be kind of a good angle to hit moving forward.
Gotcha. What about you, Heather? What is some things that people worry about that she's like, "No, we got you"?
I'm going to say food is my answer. They should not worry about food or bringing food, because everybody has so much food there, and usually the organizers are cooking some sort of meal, whether it be just breakfast or in the case of South Carolina, it's midnight. It used to be midnight bacon, but we now call it midnight meats, because it's everything from Taylor's ham to some people call it scrapple, but I call it crapple.
It's delicious.
It is not delicious, AJ.
It's also liver mush.
Yeah, to liver mush, to bacon, to sausages, like recently we had boudin on the griddle as well. That was going. So, and it used to be at midnight, but now we call it hiker's midnight. So that's because we've all gotten older and we can't stay up that late anymore. But just food in general. I mean, I know with mine and Richard's group, now that Richard and I are no longer actually running anything, we're actually able to sit back and enjoy as guests nowadays, because you know there's different people running things now for us. So, but you know, with the group that Richard and I hang out with, and that we do a lot of things with, there's so much food. There's enough food for us to feed a whole military usually. I mean, and the thing is before we even go, we plan it out and divvy out who brings what. But we all still end up bringing so much extra stuff that we end up having to pull in other people to eat our food because we have too much food. And I have found that to be true whether I'm in North Carolina, whether I'm in South Carolina hangs, whether I'm at Florida, no matter where I'm at, you know, or what I'm hanging or whatever. So I have kind of gotten to the point of I don't even bring very much food anymore. I used to bring breakfast, lunch, and dinner for myself, and now I may bring one meal a day for myself because there's just so much food around that people are willing to share and do. So my advice is don't stress and fret about meals. I promise you, because that's how we're going to love on you and get to know you. We're going to feed you, especially here in the South. And I assume it's the same way in California with Addam. That's just that same hospitality. But you know, I just know in the South, we were raised by our grandmas who, as soon as you walk in the door, you have to start eating, and you eat the whole time you're there. You know, and that's just.
And I think
so. I would say that, and then I would say don't fret about not knowing anyone. I mean, my first one I walked in, like Richard said, yeah, a bunch of people on the internet I met, a bunch of strangers I spoke to one time on Facebook, you know, and didn't know, but I walked out with a whole new community, and that community has now turned into my family, my chosen family. So.
Okay. All right, Vicki, what about you? Like what's something that you would say that people shouldn't stress about this?
You know, in life, a lot of people are waiting. They're waiting for something, right? So they're waiting for the right partner. They're waiting for the right friend group. They're waiting for the right gear. They're waiting for fill in the blank. Whatever you're waiting for, whatever's keeping you from coming to a hang, put it aside, forget about it, just come. Just come, because you're not going to regret it. I think at the end of the day, honestly, what you'll regret is not coming. So if you keep putting it off, you'll never get there. Just come, meet us, we'll embrace you. And don't wait.
Awesome.
You
All right. I have some like pokey, but
I
none
think
of
they're
you all
doing
are
that on.
in the same boxes. All right, Addam. So you wanted to chime back in.
All right, just real quick, just to follow. If you guys could see the craziness that's happening here, like flares are going up. Just real quick, I just want to jump on something that Heather said. You guys with Palmetto State Hangers, you guys were just awesome. I was so freaking worried because I like Heather, my expression of caring about people is often prepping food or whatever. So it's very strange to be flying into a place to a hang without any of my, tools and special powers, right? It's like, oh my God, what? And then, just eating, right? I was like, oh, I know they do a couple of meals a day, but what if I want? So anyway, I went to Wally World, but still felt super underprepared. I ended up having to throw away most of it because every 6 seconds, somebody from Palmetto State Hangers was handing me a plate with some piece of a pig that I didn't know you could either eat or that existed. And I felt so welcomed by that particular crew. I mean, everybody, but those guys in particular. So I just want to say thanks to you guys for that. And it was very exciting to eat pig parts that I didn't know. Like it'd be like, oh, this is the cheek. I'm like, all right, I'll go for that. And then it just goes like, this is the fin. I'm like, wait, what? So
Richard,
anyway,
I think he needs some souse meat next time he comes.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Anyway, so I just want to jump in and say thanks to you guys. You're awesome.
I can kind of relate that. I think food specifically is so regional. Here in the South, and yeah, even though the South really stops at the Georgia border, in Florida, we've got our scrapple. I grew up on liver mush, so we have that. We have assorted pig parts that are delicious, and don't listen to any of the lies that are coming from anybody that says otherwise.
I agree.
In California, I'm stupid excited about trying Addam's pickled eggs because again, random food, but I mean, my definition of pickled eggs out here is just eggs and vinegar at a gas station that just screams poor life choices. But
okay, I have to chime in. Addam, how are your pickled eggs different?
Well, I'll try to keep it short. The Pennsylvania Dutch pickled eggs, the red ones, with the beets, right?
Red beet eggs.
I start with those. I make a sweet and spicy version of that. And then I make deviled eggs out of those with blue cheese and bacon. So it's a blue cheese and bacon deviled pickled egg.
Yeah, I'm excited for this.
Yeah, it's solid.
By the way, I'm coming to California, Addam.
Woohoo!
So Stephanie, what is something that I can expect? What's a random Michigan food? Am I gonna have let me tell you what I'm excited about Michiligan the most, and I've heard a lot from Karla, is this dessert chili that I've heard so much about. That's amazing. And
Karla,
for me,
you wanna confirm
dessert
on
and
that one?
chili just don't go together.
The dessert chili was made by Orange Tarp Eli in Ohio. And I think that's why we need to have him host a hang where he would make that all the time, because it's only going to be made if he comes to Michiligan. Or since you're coming, AJ, maybe you need to ask him for the recipe so you can make it, and you will probably win.
Remember, I'm not coming with
Most likely.
squat to Michigan, so I'll be coming with a plastic spoon that I got from Dunkin' Donuts.
And we
on the way
just
over.
said no matter what you need, it will be provided. So ask,
We
and
have
someone
that.
will have
We have the
extras.
stuff. We have the technology.
Well, I know, like, even when we were in, Denmark, we had stuff that, well, for what we're not getting here, but like stuff tastes different. Even the same stuff, it tastes completely different.
Hot dogs
when
was the surprising thing for me that tasted so different.
Yeah,
I don't know what they do differently for their hot dogs, but they do not taste the same. They actually taste better than American hot dogs. But yeah.
But even like when I went to hang out with Addam last year, like tacos in California, y'all, tacos in California are a whole nother level. But yeah. So
now hang on. I'm from Texas. We might have to have a battle on that one.
I will put a Southern California taco against anything ever made in Texas.
Oh,
a Southern California taco is better than the Alamo.
Okay.
I said
I think we have a challenge. I think we have a challenge here that we need to do.
All right, we're gonna have a taco hang.
All right, sounds good.
If y'all can see Angie's face right now when she said that.
All right, so that almost goes with like my great idea of the next hang that I might want to do. It's not gonna happen, but I'm a very outdoorsman person. I like to hunt, I like to shoot. So I thought, like, what would be a great that like we could go to like a private property, whatever. We could like again in the South, and we could like shoot things like. And so I was gonna call it. We could have a hanging bag.
AJ, I've told you not to do this publicly. You cannot say this publicly. And this is
I just thought that would be the great idea, but. The Bachilica name was so much better. I mean, the taco hang, that seems pretty cool too.
Well, hell, I mean, you stand far back enough away, it looks like a bunch of tacos hanging from the trees. So
that's right. Yeah, I mean, we're just we're hanging tacos for like bears. You got tent campers or meadow muffins, and so we have hanging tacos or meadow muffins. One or the other. I'm sure it tastes the same to a bear. Well, guys, we're gonna wrap it up here in a second. I just kind of want to go one more round and just kind of say, hey, what's the next hang that you're gonna be doing, and where could people find information on where it is, when it is, and what type of hang that you're doing? So I'm gonna start from the other end. So Vicki, what's the next hang that you are doing, and where can people find out about it?
So we've got Fall Maha coming up. It's the weekend of September, I believe, 26th. And you can get more information on our Facebook page. It's just Maha.
Okay, awesome. All right. Let's see. Heather, what's the next thing that you and Fancy Nancy are gonna be doing?
Richard, I'll let you go ahead and speak.
Well, I was going to defer to that, but I wanted to answer the original question that didn't get around to me really quickly. So the things that I feel like that was kind of touched upon earlier was the single ladies coming to camping for the first time. And I'd say security. If anyone in this room that's talking here puts on a hang, I would 100% say that if you're a single female or a single male, or it doesn't matter, but if you have children, you're a single mother with children, if you go to one of these hangs, get with the person that organized it, and you'll find right away that they'll set you up either next to somebody that they're trusting and that they know will guide you the right direction. And I just feel like that the family-oriented place is where the hangs need to go when it comes to that. I mean, we'd love to see kids there to a certain extent. The kids are going to be the people that take over these hangs when we're wanting to get out of this. I mean, that Karla the Cage got her fingers crossed. But when we decide it's time for us to pass that baton, so to speak, the kids that are going through now, the teenagers now, if we can keep them engaged and keep them coming, I feel like that's it. And I think it starts from getting more families involved in our hangs.
I think I can chime in here too and say, everyone here who I know, and probably even the ones I don't know, on the rare occasion that something does come up, we all take it very seriously, and it's not something that just gets brushed under the rug or ignored.
Absolutely.
We're very proactive about keeping everyone safe and making sure that this is a place where people feel welcome.
Yeah. So PSH's Pomo State Hangers next hang is coming up soon. It's the Swamp Butt Hang. I believe the dates for that are, let me look, I actually have to look at the calendar, I'm not sure. Are Friday, July 25th through Sunday, July 27th. It will be at Lake Wateree State Park, which is in Fairfield County, South Carolina. It's on a beautiful, beautiful lake out there. So the campground actually, so people can bring their boats and park their boats along the shoreline of the park, at the lake and stuff like that. It's a very quiet lake. There's not a lot of activity like most of your lakes, and stuff like that. So, and it's a smaller lake, so it's just a lot of good fishing there. It's a good place to bring and pull your kids on inner tubes on the boats, things like that. So that's our next hang is Swamp Butt there. So I am not going to that one. I'm going out to visit for the day. I have other things I have to do that weekend. But I am only going to take out, because I do have a boat on that lake and my family lives down that way. So I am going to go take some of the folks out and let them cruise around on the boat for a few hours. And any kids that are there, I'll pull them around on an inner tube for a few hours, things like that, if their parents want them to do that. But unfortunately, I have other things going on that weekend as well, and I won't be able to make it for the whole weekend. But I am coming out for a few hours.
Okay, awesome. All right, Addam, what about you? When's SoCal's next hang event happening?
Well, I've been really busy, and I'm just sitting here thinking, oh crap, tomorrow I got to book October. So probably sometime mid-October we'll be up at Barton Flats Campground in San Bernardino National Forest. If anybody's listening that is in the area, it is basically the mountains behind San Bernardino Redlands. It'll be a little bit smaller. Like, we're not going to be having a raffle at that one, because we've kind of got some plans that are jostling some things around with our just in terms of putting on the hangs, because we usually have it yearly, right? We just finished our one in May. I don't feel like doing the whole rigmarole, so we'll probably have a little bit subdued gathering in October, and then we will see where the spring takes us. But if anybody wants to find us, look up SoCal Hangers on Facebook, and we're happy to get you any information. And I do also want to just say thanks to Stephanie for getting the ball rolling on this little soiree. So thank you for that. It's been so nice seeing everybody and talking to everybody.
Yeah. So, Karla, when's the next hang that you're going to be got your hands in?
I have my hands, and it's not necessarily a hammock hang, but we have a hammock presence. It's in northern Minnesota. It's called the Winter Camping Symposium. We take over a YMCA camp. It's really focused on a lot of hot tents. So I am actually going to have my hammock hot tent set up, and they're going to help me because I've never set it up before or used a stove in there. So I am excited to be able to help and get that going. And this cannot be official, but I have been told by one of the board of directors that one of the keynotes, you all know as a retired northern Minnesota vaudevillian juggler, who will be one of the keynotes, but that has not been officially announced, and I might be in trouble for saying this right now. But the Winter Camping Symposium in northern Michigan, northern Minnesota, you can go to wintercampingsymposium.com. Registration will be coming out soon. And I also want to make a plug on behalf of Nick of the Woods for the Wisconsin Frozen Butt Hang that happens at the beginning of every January.
Hey, awesome. All right, Moose, what's the next hang that we can expect from the North Carolina crew?
The next one we've got two already planned. We have the Harvest Hang. It's going to be at Van Hoy Campground in Harmony, North Carolina. And that's going to be September the 19th through 21st. So go ahead and put that in your calendars. Now, I didn't make this actually known a while ago. We don't do the Yates Hang, but Lord, Yates has been going on since way before 2010, I think, or somewhere around there. So, but we all help there. Taz always does the kitchen there, and Phantom Grappler is the one that puts on that, and he's listed that over on hammockforums.net on that one. We also have another one. Let me look at my notes. Let's see. The Yates Hang is always time change weekend. If it's fall forward or backwards or whichever way you want to fall or spring forward. So he has two. This one coming up is going to be Halloween weekend and also into November the 1st or 2nd, something like that. And then the last one that we have planned is November the 21st. It'll be at Woolly Swamp in Greene County, North Carolina. That's far east. That's near Goldsboro, Kinston, East Carolina area down there. So that's the ones that we have planned.
Oh, okay, awesome. All right, Stephanie, what about yourself?
Bachilligan is sorry, I got distracted from something. Bachilligan is the first weekend of October, so the 2nd through the 5th. What was the other questions? Oh, it's in Yankee Springs, so that's between Grand Rapids and Kalamazoo, Michigan. Let's see. Well, we have sorry, I got so distracted. A chili cook-off, so we have a chili competition that we have people coming from other parts of the country to actually compete. We have a husband-wife duo that's coming. They both have like competing chilies within their family, and so they're bringing their chili to us, which is going to be really cool to see.
Awesome.
And then we also have a new competition because Mr. Fancy Nancy on here is coming up to make some gravy for us. So we're doing a best biscuit competition. So we can have some biscuits and gravy. So thank you, Richard. And we also have our raffle, and everybody loves the raffle. We have some pretty good sponsors coming in this year.
Awesome. And the next event that HangCon will be doing was, HangCon. So
Really?
Tickets are on sale for HangCon. They're open now at hangcon.com. Make sure you go in to pick which ticket works best for you and your situation when you want to arrive. We have also a select number of RV sites that we are doing as well. And once they are gone, they are gone. So make sure that you head over to hangcon.com for more information on that as well. You can find us on Facebook as well. So guys, this was a whole lot of fun. I would really love to, if we can kind of get back together and maybe talk about, hey, what if we have some listeners that are saying, hey, I'm hearing some really great things about these hangs, but there's not one near me. How would I go about getting that hang started? So I would love to have you guys back on for another episode, specifically talking about developing a hang, starting a hang, and keeping it running. And so with that, we're going to close it out for this week. Thank you all for being here. Team Sparkle Squirrel, we did great.
Good to see everybody. Good night.
Thank you.
Thanks, thanks, Stephanie, for putting this together.
Thanks, Steph.
It was
I
fun.
really give a shout out to Stephanie. She did all the legwork and grunt work as far as putting questions together. That she made my life a whole lot easier for this podcast.
Oh, well,
So
AJ, right
go
quick.
ahead.
If anybody here has a hang or wants to start a hang, we do have a Facebook group. You can reach out and get some information from other organizers.
Yeah, so if you're interested, we do. It's a Hammock Hang Organizer group. Is that the title?
I
of the
call
group?
it the HOA, the Hammock Organizer Assemble or something. I threw a name in it. It's weird.
Assemble.
The HOA. All right, that'll work.
I think I just watched Captain America and I said Hammock Organizers Assemble.
That works.
Makes sense.
That works.
Makes perfect sense.
You guys truly are, in my opinions, some of the heroes of the hammock community. What you guys do behind the scenes is incredible. In this little circle that we have here, me and Paul definitely have like things that we say that only you and I know, and we definitely have a lot of, hey, only you all know, because if I have to tell another person to move their car because they can't park at their campsite, you all know the struggle. Or no, you can't have fourth after everybody has haven't eaten their first. So you all know the
put your
struggle.
fire out.
Put your fire.
Well, let me be the first to say, you're welcome, AJ. You're welcome for my greatness and my handsomeness and everything I bring to the table on an ongoing basis.
Mr. Humble over here.
My humility.
You are what makes my world go around, Adam.
You're the shyest person I know, Adam.
So everybody, if you've liked what you've heard today, and I really hope that I've had a blast talking to these wonderful people. Give us a like on Facebook or whatever podcast apparatus that you listen to us on, and throw us a positive review. It really helps the algorithm make sacrifices to broadcast us out to the greater world. And if you're interested in coming to a hang from any parts of the world, really, give us a holler. We would love to have you. And until next time, happy hanging, everybody.
As we gently sway out of another Hammock Field episode, we want to thank you, our wonderful listeners, for hanging out with us on the Hammock Hangers Podcast. We hope that you have found relaxation, inspiration, and a renewed sense of connection to nature through our discussions. Remember to keep that hammock spirit alive in your daily life, whether it's by taking a few moments to unwind in your own backyard oasis, or by planning your next hammock adventure in the great outdoors. Embracing the tranquility, embracing the simplicity, and never forget the joy that comes from simply hanging around. Before we part ways, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay up to date with all things hammock related. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search for the Hammock Hangers Podcast. Your support means the world to us, and we can't wait to hang with you again on our next episode. Until then, stay relaxed, stay adventurous, and keep on hanging those hammocks high. From all of us here at the Hammock Hangers Podcast, we wish you peaceful hangs and endless relaxation. Thank you for tuning in. Happy hanging, everyone.